I am 29 and was out for drinks yesterday with my male friend, also 29. He is a good-looking guy and, in many ways, better looking than I am. We started talking to a 23-year-old girl who was okay looking but not spectacular. I can't remember exactly how it came up, but she said, "You look like a dad to me," and then said, "You don't to my friend." We both sort of scoffed at the fact that someone would say that, and then she immediately said, "Don't get me started on your hairline to me." I didn't take that well and didn't respond. I sat there in silence until we left. This really hurt. My hairline has been getting worse, and I have become increasingly conscious and insecure about it over the last few months as a result. Hearing that was really difficult. My friend said not to let it get to me, but it's easy to say that when you aren't on the receiving end and are generally better looking. She was clearly more interested in him. This has really knocked my confidence on a weekend where I was making a concerted effort to talk to more girls. I had been out Friday and Saturday trying to push myself out of my comfort zone, and I feel like I am back to square one. I'm not sure how to process this. Do you have any good ways to get over someone's negative comments? The things we say matter. Story 1. One time, I went to a bar after a gig ended early, looking to continue the night and see if I could find some friends. I went to the dance floor, minding my own business, just trying to enjoy the music when a girl stepped out of her way to shove me. I brushed it off and continued, not trying to bump into anyone, literally just dancing by myself, and she did it again. So I asked what her problem was, and she threw a drink at me, started walking away, and shouting as another guy in her group tried to confront me. I followed them out, asking what their problem was, as I hadn't done anything and was about 6 feet away from their whole group beforehand. And she said, "You were being creepy." This totally killed my previously happy vibe, and I just headed home from there. I've always made a point to never initiate anything on the dance floor without enthusiastic reciprocation from a girl first. So this comment has really sat with me for a long time and still gets to me now and then. You just have to accept that there are some really unpleasant people out there who will go out of their way to be judgmental, rude, and bring people down. But thankfully, there are enough good ones out there who aren't so nasty. Story 2. Dude, realize the only opinion in this entire world that is important to you is your own. That barfly does not know you. She is oblivious to your life, struggles, and circumstances. Value your opinion above all others. Story 3. Let me guess, because your dad is still out for cigarettes? She's trying to see if she can get under your skin or how much she can get away with. Everyone does it to some degree, and she went way too far with it. How did your friend react to this? Story 4. Sorry, man. That's a terrible thing to say to someone. Personally, I wouldn't have been okay with someone disrespecting my friend like that and would have called her on it before walking away. As for you, I'd recommend some prepared, funny responses that just own it to show it doesn't bother you. Obviously, it does, but you don't have to give someone like her the satisfaction. At the end of the day, no one will ever love you like you do. Again, I'm really sorry. Hang in there, bro. Story 5. A person who is okay with putting a stranger down for no reason isn't someone whose opinion I'd care about. A solid yikes and move on might clue her into the fact that middle school behavior isn't acceptable in an adult environment. If your friend isn't thinking with his impulses, he shouldn't have given her the time of day after that display. Story 6. Laugh out loud. Bro, this is why you do not give random women attention. Their ego is inflated enough as it is. If you are going to talk to them at a bar and you are not attractive, this is going to happen more than once. Story 7. Laugh at her and move on. It's hard if you're already insecure, but only you can increase your confidence. Remember as well, she's still essentially a child in today's world. Forget her, but not literally, obviously. It's hard, but learning that not everyone will respond to you is an important part of maturing. Whether physically or personality-wise, there are always people who will respond well to you. Growing your mental fortitude to shake off the nonsense and instantly forget people like her will take you far. Story 8. You can respond with words or simply walk away to avoid feeling regret afterward. Try something like this. I want to thank you so much for showing me the kind of person you are. You really helped me dodge a bullet. Then leave. Besides this, brother, Work on building confidence before such situations occur to handle them better. Embrace your hairline. Most women don't care about that if they are interested in you. Consider therapy, exercise more, and ensure you're well-dressed whenever you go out. That way, next time something like this happens, you can say, "Did that trash can just speak? Technology is amazing. I wonder if it comes in colors other than that." Lastly, be careful with responding in this manner. The more reactive you become to their comments, the easier it is to react next time. Honestly, your best bet is to laugh at them and walk away. Lastly, disregard any negative comments directed at you. Story 9. Some might disagree with me, but there comes a time when it is completely acceptable to be inconsiderate. And this is one of those times. I'm 6 feet 9 inches, and I remember a girl in the bar referred to me as freakishly tall. Just rude. It gets hard when everyone stares at you like a carnival attraction. Imagine a guy getting a beer after work. I gave her a response and called her a piece of trash, and that was the end of it. Was it mature? Not really. But hey, maybe she learned to think before sharing her opinion on a stranger's appearance. Story 10. Going bald in your 20s is challenging, and it does make you look older. I started losing my hair at 22, but it wasn't noticeable until 30. I tried finasteride and used hair fibers, which both work a little, but I saw the reality and began shaving. I'm now in my late 30s with a shaved head, and I feel it suits me quite well. You will not overcome negative comments until you are not insecure about it. If someone said I was bald, I would say yes, obviously. If I were very petty, I might point out their flaw, but I have never actually done it. Basically, you can't help people being unpleasant. But you can handle how you feel about it by either accepting or challenging what you are insecure about. Story 11. I would take note of who said it to me and ask myself why her opinion is important. The answer would likely be that it isn't. Story 12. I recently came across some advice that if you take an attitude of being curious, you sidestep other reactive emotions. Think about why someone would say such things, what's going on in their lives, or what choices they are making that lead them to think that's acceptable. Then it's easier to realize their negative behavior isn't about you. It's entirely on them. It also puts them on the spot when you ask out of genuine curiosity and aren't affected by it. For example, you might say, "Wow, that's a really inappropriate thing to say to someone. Why did you decide it was okay to say?" They are then left with the choice to own their actions or double down, becoming keenly aware that they sound offensive and everyone can hear it. Story 13. I am sorry, that is rough. Not their hairline, but that they said that. Are you familiar with working scientifically? Then you'll know that a sample size of 1 isn't good. At least you wouldn't want to hurt someone else like that. You also regain your confidence by reminding yourself of what makes you unique and what about that is really cool. Story 14. Here is the deal. She is someone to avoid. Some people enjoy hurting others. They just want to watch the world burn. Story 15. Rules 1 and 2 apply when talking to women at a bar. It's a sad truth of life. I follow Rule 2, but I can't do anything right now about Rule 1, so I usually avoid that kind of environment for dating. As for getting over the comments, I'd suggest you focus on the core values and attributes that make you who you are. If you're kind, smart, attentive, and polite, then it doesn't matter if someone insults your hairline. It isn't a relevant component of who you are. Regarding the hairline, I know it's rough. I had the donut hair way too early. I was 22. I started shaving my head. It made a night and day difference for my confidence. Either way, I'm bald, but shaving my head is a conscious style choice that I can confidently defend. Story 16. First off, a girl who says that to you doesn't deserve the attention. I hope she's alone for the rest of her life. On a personal level, I've had similar comments in the past about my hairline, so at 25, I just shaved my head and kept it shaved ever since. People still make comments about being bald, but there are honestly worse things to care about in life. Accepting my hairline, or lack thereof, was one of the best things I did for my confidence. I put my time and effort into things that I have control over changing, like my weight, muscle, body, and clothes. Story 17. The shit test. A conscious or unconscious challenge posed by a woman to a man to determine his suitability as a romantic or sexual partner, involving acting in a cold, unfriendly, provocative, or otherwise defiant manner to see how the man reacts and whether he is able to stay unfazed. Believe it or not, women who see you as a potential sexual partner or someone they might be interested in will sometimes give you a hard time to see how you react. Most of the time, it's not a conscious thing they're doing, and when you fail a shit test by becoming fazed by her test, it makes her lose attraction toward you. The best thing to do is to ignore it and not care. Her, you look like a dad. You, thanks for noticing. That was the look I was going for tonight. But you're the first to notice. You're a sweetheart. That's how you handle head games like this. The younger a woman is, the more she will throw these kinds of tests. And you just have to let it roll off your chest and not take it personally. She was actively trying to get under your skin, and it worked. Don't take it personally. I know it sometimes hurts, but she was probably actually into you. I know it doesn't make any sense. Why would someone who's into me make fun of me? But sometimes women don't make sense. It's not coming from a logical place. Don't try to be logical about it. All you need to remember is that if a girl teases you, she's probably shit testing you. It's her way of testing to see if you're actually confident or if you're a weak man who will crumble under pressure. It's silly, it's childish, it's mean, but that's how a lot of women operate, unfortunately. I didn't make the rules. I'm just telling you how it is. Story 18. The way men intimidate and show dominance is through physicality, while women often do so psychologically. This woman was trying to assert her dominance by bullying you. If this was unprovoked, she is a pretty terrible person and feels better about herself by putting others down. It has nothing to do with the way you look. You just met an unpleasant person at a bar. Story 19. This person elevates her self-esteem by stepping on others. In 7 years, gravity will affect her appearance, and her low self-esteem may lead her to seek validation. She might become a single mother and face challenges with weight management. She could find herself accepting lower standards for companionship in her quest for someone to care for her. By her 40s, she may choose to self-medicate with beer and prescription drugs. Meanwhile, you will be in your prime. You will realize that your achievements are more attractive than physical attributes. You will have built yourself up to be appealing and may attract a lot of attention. Take care of your body and mind, keep your focus sharp, and maintain a forward-thinking vision. Story 20. Next time, I would tell the woman that if she thinks you look like a dad, that must mean she wants you to have her children. Otherwise, why mention it? I'm flattered, I really am, but you're really not my type because your mouth is so large it can't keep up with your brain. I'm into people who have actual brains and can carry on a conversation, but I appreciate your offer to be a dad. I don't put up with people who behave so horribly. I have found that the reason some people, both men and women, behave this way is because they have never been called out or been on the receiving end. Don't let people treat you like this. It's nasty behavior that should be called out. Story 21. 1. She's a trash person. Her comments say more about her than they do about you. If your hairline is something that genuinely worries you, have you thought about buzzing your hair off? In my opinion, a well-maintained buzz cut looks much better than someone trying to cling to a receding hairline. Story 22. That girl can go insult herself. Why should men accept being insulted for mind games? I'm guessing she was drunk or whatever, but that's just childish and immature behavior. Like half the men of the world are balding or almost balding. Story 23. I'm a woman. I usually just observe here, but I feel the need to say this. A lot of women, myself included, love balding or receding hairlines. It's very attractive to us. My boyfriend is 26, and his hair is thinning, and I just know he's going to be a handsome bald guy. I don't know what it is, it's just very masculine and appealing to me. Do not feel insecure about it. Story 24. She sounds immature, either deliberately being rude or ignorantly so. Don't give her opinion any weight. You could disarm her by saying, "You're quite rude, aren't you? Why's that?" Or you could laugh it off and look away to signal you are not interested in conversing anymore and you don't take her seriously. As far as getting over the remarks, she doesn't know you, she is shallow. You look like what you look like, and you should be confident in knowing you are a good person. A more mature woman would be worth your time. Don't fret over people who don't seem to have fully escaped adolescence. Try talking to some 29-year-old women. And don't be disheartened. You have to be a little brave and determined to find someone who appreciates you. Good luck. Story 25. I have to value you as a person before I take your criticism or compliment to heart. My usual response when being criticized is to ask, who hurt you? Your mom? Your dad? If I want to end the conversation, I say, I have to go to the bathroom. Story 26. The best way to react to this is to ask them to repeat it, as if you didn't hear. It doesn't matter how good a joke or insult is. If it's repeated, it never lands. Story 27. This girl sounds like an idiot. I'm 37 years old, and as a photographer, I've met many young girls over the years who tend to be very sweet and treat me like an older brother. But every once in a while, you encounter a very insecure, snippy little person who makes rude remarks. I've always looked older than my age, so I've been the recipient of some rude comments myself. Try not to let it bother you as best as you can. I've learned recently that miserable people will project whatever they want onto everyone around them to deflect how empty they feel. Story 28. I had a female friend who used to make fun of me for my height. Mind you, I'm 5 feet 9 inches and she was 5 feet 10 inches. Needless to say, we don't talk anymore. I got over her comments by putting myself in her shoes and understanding that anyone who is hyper-focused on a particular feature is more than likely self-conscious about something within themselves. I feel bad for them. Tall women tend to get bullied too, and anyone who gets bullied will usually cope by passing that on. This is how bullies operate. They are projecting. The most confident people I know are secure in themselves and do not feel the need to pick people apart for things they cannot change. In your situation, the girl blurted out a weird random insult, and that is not exactly something a person with any social awareness would do. She is likely socially inept or just plain rude. There is another thing at play here that is rarely ever discussed, and that is female psychopathy. These women feed off negative energy and will put you down just to watch you react. I've run into a couple in the corporate world, and the best thing is to train yourself to spot them and not give them the satisfaction of reacting. It's not easy, but in these special cases, the women are literally just psychopaths. Story 29. Wow. I'm sorry. This is very hurtful. I know this is a question for men, but I just want you to know that you don't deserve to be treated that way. Story 30. Girls like that obviously have no manners. If I were in your shoes, I would ask myself, why would I be fazed by this girl? She clearly has a low IQ, so she doesn't know any better. Their opinions don't matter, my man. Story 31. Raise your hands in the air, walk away backwards and say, I'm flattered that you don't fancy me. Or thanks, I'm glad I could dodge this bullet. Or just laugh. Something like that. Insulting strangers is unnecessary behavior and absolutely off-putting. She could be the best-looking girl in the world, but no one wants to deal with a toxic personality like that. Just realize that her uncalled-for toxic comment reflects badly on her, not on you. That's how you let it fall away like water off a duck's back, so it doesn't hurt you at all. Story 32. You just have to brush people like that off and keep moving. If you're looking for clever comebacks, you could have just said what you thought. Well, for what it's worth, you're nothing special. Granted, I don't think that's even worth it. Story 33. Do what my little brother does. Find her insecurity and pick at it. He's really good at it and will shamelessly do it to wind you up. Story 34. Sounded kind of like a test. She was trying to get under your skin to see how you'd react. I know it's easy to say, but really, she was just a terrible person. A terrible person's opinion is about as much worth as a kilo of feces. Story 35. That woman. Hopefully, my choice of words doesn't offend anyone. As a female, don't let her or women like her get under your skin. If your hair is bothering you, shave it. Confident bald is attractive. I always advise people to take the high road, but sometimes people need to be put in their place. I agree with some of these other comments. Lean into it and respond confidently. Don't detract from your progress. Keep pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. You'll encounter some challenges, but you've got this. Story 36. If you're going to start calling me daddy this early, we need to go ahead and have a talk about consent and safe words. Mine is pineapple. Either she's about it, in which case, score. Or she's not and realizes that she may be barking up the wrong tree. And if she keeps talking, she's likely to end up getting her feelings hurt. When someone goes low and you go weird, it can be very disorienting for them. Story 37. Shave your head and start from square one. She's not a good person. She shouldn't have said that. Regain your confidence after shaving your head. There are women who are interested in bald men. Story 38. About the hairline insecurity, have you looked into finasteride? I started it when some family noticed my hair was receding and thinning, and that made me really insecure about my hair. After 3 years of taking it, my hair looks better than when I was 19. Not everyone has positive reactions to hair loss prevention or treatment, but it's something to consider. Story 39. My dad once told me, if you run into an unpleasant person once in a while, you met an unpleasant person. It isn't you, it's them, and they aren't worth your time. But if you run into unpleasant people all day, it's you that needs to change. This has held true in my life. I'm an average-looking guy and married an absolutely gorgeous woman inside and out. I met a lot of women that didn't work out but were completely polite and pleasant even if they weren't interested. I also met a couple of really rude people who were just looking for an excuse to be mean. First, it hurt. Then I realized their life must be so utterly unpleasant having to deal with all the unpleasant people they meet in a day, never realizing that they are the problem. Story 40. You can say whatever you want about the girl being nasty, but she told you the truth. Whether nasty or not, you have to accept it and realize she probably feels the same as many other women. She just has the courage to tell you about it. Even if being nasty, she did you a favor. First, she gave you good advice, and second, she showed you she is not a good person. Are you single and wondering why? She represents the younger female dating pool, which you are presumably interested in. I can give you a pat on the back and cheer you up, or you can do something about it. Start wearing a hat, try a new hairstyle, get hair treatments. Walmart sells generic minoxidil, also known as Rogaine, for cheap, or shave it off as many women like the bald look. But let's be honest, she was telling you a hard truth, and you can either sulk or try to improve your appearance. It's all about getting your foot in the door with women. I bet most won't care if your hairline isn't the best. But if they were out at a bar and compared you to other guys, a receding hairline is going to be one of the biggest reasons for rejection when quickly glancing over the room for cute guys. It's a shame she was mean, but this can be a lesson. Story 41. I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others. Marcus Aurelius. Story 42. Bro, you should have cut her down right there. I'm glad you feel that way because I would never want to waste my time with anyone shallow or rude enough to say something like that. Not that you're any great prize to look at either. Have a nicer night than you apparently deserve. Or something similar. And good luck to you, sir. Story 43. Sorry you dealt with that. I didn't like how my hairline was and I got a transplant. I've loved it ever since I got it nearly 5 years ago. You could always do that if you don't like how yours currently is. One thing you can do to give yourself confidence is work on your body, like going to the gym and really dedicating yourself to either losing some fat or building some muscle. That's just an example of how you can inherently build confidence in yourself because you know what you can do. Story 44. For years, I had no confidence, reinforced by moments like those. What I came to realize is this. I go out with a woman on Monday and we really connect. Then, I go out with another woman on Tuesday, and it doesn't go well. I didn't change fundamentally as a person overnight. The only difference was a different date. I started seeing relationships and dating in full color rather than in black and white. So what if one woman didn't like your hairline? You will find someone who appreciates that aspect of you, and you'll be attracting more attention than you can handle. I have one partner now, and she loves my dad bod. Story 45. Well, she's certainly not wife material with rude comments like that. You should tell her if you get comments like that again because it's true. The right one will come along, and she'll be nice about how you look. Don't accept any girlfriend into your life who isn't. Story 46. I would focus on ignoring negative comments like that. You should end up rolling with whatever gets said and make it into something funny or otherwise enjoyable. Turn the tables back on her. We're not going to make out, but if we were, you wouldn't care. Story 47. Grab your friend and say to her, "You have a face and personality that make it seem like you'll be single for life." Then leave her energy behind. Story 48. Time. To get over things like that takes time. And for the other thing about your look, what if you change your style? If your hair doesn't improve, try something like a hair transplant, or maybe go bald. For many people, that is attractive. Maybe you'll start seeing yourself in a different light, and for a lot of people, the dad type is also attractive. Start being a little more positive, my friend. There are always answers and options. May you have nice and good moments coming your way. Story 49. Straight up, forget that woman. Clearly, she has her own problems. Don't worry. Even if you're going bald, there are plenty out there and most aren't worth your time. Find yourself a nice lady who doesn't criticize strangers. That woman did you a favor by quickly showing she's not a nice person, so move on. It's tough out there for a gentleman, but keep looking, and you'll find a nice lady who appreciates you and your hairline. Simple as that. Story 50. She is commenting on things you cannot change. You cannot be taller, and you cannot change the genetics that control your hairline. She is concerned with superficial things that do not matter. What someone like that says should not affect you in any way. Story 51. I don't think she was more interested in your friend. I think she was interested in you. After all, why would you test someone you're not interested in? Women do this all the time. Story 52. I usually leave long comments, but I'll try to be brief here. Time heals all wounds. Don't let the comments of a stranger stick with you. As for the knock to your confidence, you have to spin it in a way that keeps you up but doesn't turn into hatred or bitterness. That's just one less person you have to deal with. Just like a fighter, take the hit, catch your breath, and get back out there and get a knockout. Story 53. She's insecure and a total bitch. You recover by recognizing your own value and having boundaries. I'd walk away from a conversation with this sort of person. Story 54. Not a man, but she sounds inconsiderate. I could attribute it to her being 23 and immature, but her intent was to belittle you for what? Her personality is unpleasant. You're fine without someone like her liking you. Good people don't tear others down like that. You don't need this person, 1 in 8 billion, to validate your existence. You're worth more than that. Story 55. I used to be an insulting specialist. It would have been a heyday for me if I were in your shoes, but I've gotten over that. You'll get over it soon. Not everyone who has a mouth should have your attention. Your receding hairline is new to you, so you'll be self-conscious, just like when I saw my first gray hair. If you treat it like a big deal, others will too. She will have sagging breasts and hair loss as time goes on, and she'll feel the pangs of dread. See if you can find a haircut to fit your hairline. Work out so you have something else to focus on and take control. Story 56. My favorite quote is, "It's none of my business what you think of me, and what you think of me is irrelevant." You aren't looking for a shallow person, so she did you a favor by showing who she truly is. Someone will love you no matter what. Hold your head high. Everyone has insecurities. Story 57. Says way more about her than you. One day, when she's 70 and her breasts are dragging the floor, some much younger guy is going to roast her like a Costco chicken. You won't be there to see it, but every guy she has criticized will be there in spirit, laughing. Story 58. That type usually ends up being the dumping ground for an abusive drug-addicted boyfriend. Then she turns around and tries to take it out on random people. You might see her on the side of the road one day begging for change. Story 59. Oof. What a situation. Don't stress about your hairline. Shave your head and rock the bald look. Many attractive men do. Story 60. Make your perceived weakness a strength. Shave your head. Women do go for the bald look too. Also, A 23-year-old who insults people to make small talk is a garbage person anyway. Story 61. Sorry it happened to you, but take it from a man who started balding early. It's time to shave it. It isn't going to get any better. Own the chrome dome, brother. Story 62. You don't regain confidence. You learn to put things into perspective. A random 23-year-old shouldn't have so much power over you to ruin your entire weekend. Rude comments hurt, but learn to be wittier in the moment and deprioritize them. Dating and approaching people at bars is notoriously tough, and the average man doesn't have much success with it, let alone get anything from it. If you want to build your confidence and meet women, the best bet is to meet through friends, hobby groups, or work like most men do. Story 63. So, my brother in hairline, you sound like you are fast approaching the crossroads. The place where you must choose your hair future. Welcome. You're about to make a difficult choice, and I don't blame you for disliking your genetics and questioning the day you were born. Do you seek medical help, accept the genetic cards you were dealt, and let the hair do as it will? Or do you join the Brotherhood of Shaved Heads? Join me in the Brotherhood and own it. My hair was in comb-over territory by 21. To 21, I looked 30. I've shaved my head at least once a week since then, and I'm 38 now. I still look 30, except I'm starting to get some silver in the beard. Join the Brotherhood and embrace immortality. Brother. Story 64. Some people can be unpleasant, my friend. I handle it by avoiding the situation. I would leave or move on, or if necessary, I'd respond with a clever remark. I used to be quite good at insults when my friends and I got together, and if someone attacks me, I will retaliate. I never start a fight, whether verbal, physical, or otherwise, but I can certainly end them. Don't let a stranger affect you. They simply don't matter. Focus on the people who treat you well and forget the person who didn't. That's really the best way to be, my friend. Best of luck to you. Please don't give up or retreat. Stay the course. Story 65. Nobody can make you mad. They can only remind you that you already are. She didn't say anything to hurt you. You were already hurt. Get comfortable with your hair, shave it or do whatever you need to do, so that if someone says anything about it, it's as if they said they didn't like the shape of your elbow. Story 66. I am a firm believer that your confidence has to come from within. Confidence isn't based on the number of people you attract. It's based on whether you are brave enough to try to succeed in life. Plus, you just have to convince one person that you are great. Once they believe, they'll actually tell you that you are great. Everything will be worth it when you see the signs of genuine approval. So, about the person who made fun of your hairline, who did they go home with? Story 67. How confusing. Typically, I would take that as a sign she is interested in me. A committed man who loves kids and clearly enjoys a good relationship? Who's your stepdaddy? Story 68. An okay-looking girl called you a dad. Oh no, what will you do? Shake it off. Some average girl didn't like you. Who cares? Besides, in order to be a dad, you have to. So really, that was an insult to your friend. Story 69. You can be hurt by it, or you can be thankful that she showed you her true colors and you didn't accidentally end up dating a terrible person. Story 70. First and foremost, don't tie your confidence to what someone else says. It's a lose-lose situation and not reflective of the reality of a situation. Also, you can practice comebacks or other skills. For some people, it's natural, while for others, it's a learned ability. I remember when one of my friends felt really bad after going out with a girl. When they went to bed, she remarked when he got undressed that he had a small penis but said, "We'll have to work with what you've got." He got really angry and sad and couldn't hold an erection for a long time. I suggested that next time something like that happens, he could respond with, "Once I put that in another place, it will feel bigger." Not taking things to heart, especially from random people, is also something to keep in mind. Story 71. Should have responded with, "I could see how I would look like a dad to someone who was in junior high when I was in college." If your hairline bothers you that much, there are different options to explore for fixing it. Give it a shot. Story 72. For me, this would be a chance to examine two people at once. The girl should be completely ignored. If your friend does not ignore her or reprimand her, then prioritize this friend less in your social calendar. If he is willing to engage with such a shallow person, then you need a better friend. Story 73. It's appalling that women can actually say that to men. A guy would be canceled out of existence and barred from social circles for saying something similar to a girl. Story 74. Your friend should have told her to back off. It's easy to say after the fact, but in the moment, it's easy to be caught off guard and give too much leeway for what might seem like banter. Just remember that she is a fool. You shouldn't pay too much attention to fools. Story 75. I've had women sneer at me and call me boring or ugly. I've had women call and text me incessantly, desperate to get my attention. Neither is good. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but true. Who cares what she thinks? One thing's for certain. She's rude. What matters is what you think. Story 76. Why would I care about the opinions of those beneath me? That's not me being misogynistic. I have a God complex. You're all beneath me. Story 77. Homie, you're hustling backwards if you're chasing a woman. Stupid, chase the money, they come with it. I'm not actually a gangster, but advice that is never bad is for you to get in the gym and work on your skill set so you can work on your bank account. Attractive women aren't with Leonardo DiCaprio because of his body. They are interested in his body of work and his bank account. Insecurity is not attractive, and it won't grow your hair back. Acknowledge that we all have weaknesses. Work on them or on your strengths and recognize you don't have an option but to accept the hand you were dealt. I'm what you might describe as short, and I was made fun of for it a lot as a kid. I can't control my height, but I can make changes to my fitness. In football, bullies pick on people who look weak. They stop picking on you after you pick them up and slam them on the ground. You know what else is a great feeling? Being with Division I volleyball girls that are twice your height. The way to make that happen is to work on what you can and to develop a personality that is not based on your insecurities. No one is coming to save you, but you. Story 78. So, I know it hurt, but per your first sentence, you did the same thing to her. Granted, you didn't tell her, but you still judged her by her physical appearance by calling her okay. As if she was in no place to judge you. She definitely shouldn't have said that to you, though. It's never nice to be mean. Story 79. My college roommate had a severe receding hairline at 20 years old. He tried to make it work for a couple of years, but it wasn't great. He recently shaved it all off, and honestly, he's rocking the bald look. He sports cool hats now, and he definitely looks better than before. I would recommend considering it at the very least. It wouldn't be a bad look. Story 80. The key is not to show any emotion, even if it bothers you, but it's best not to be bothered because what this person says doesn't matter, at least in theory. You can flip the script by taking everything as a compliment. If someone calls you a dad, that actually does sound like a compliment, even if it is meant passive-aggressively. Don't get me started on your hairline. Okay, don't get me started on your waistline or insert other random topics like shoes or outfit. Or so you're a hairdresser. Story 81. We would have had a full roast session. I always have something ready, even if she's very attractive. Story 82. Clap back. I'd be deeply disappointed if my daughter were friends with you. Then add if you want, because you're unpleasant, or because I was hoping she'd have attractive friends. B. Embrace the hairline situation. If your hair is thinning and receding, consider shaving it short. No need to go completely bald, but shorter hair is generally less holding on for dear life than having longer wispy hair. And more, I'm like half of the other male population. But yes, she was being unpleasant. Depending on who you are, you can respond, or just ignore it and work on why a stranger's insults affect you. Story 83. My friend, you're right where you should be. Most men's hair starts to thin by that age. Is it great? Absolutely not. I just reply that I've lived a stressful life up until now. I also simply look at my father and know what the future holds, so I shouldn't worry too much. Does it make her comments better? No. Take a few days, do things you enjoy, and get back out there. Fix the things you can control. Your other option is to respond with humor and confidently handle the people who make unkind remarks. Story 84. By not caring about negative people's opinions. How? By loving yourself and investing in good people around you. Story 85. No single person is going to be attractive to everyone. I would have laughed and said, "So, are you having my kids?" You can't let the remarks of an apparently very shallow girl get the best of you. There's someone out there for you. You can't have success without failure. You can't go through life without someone at some point saying something that might feel bad. It's up to you to brush it off and move on. Story 86. Stop worrying about what women think. Be the best version of yourself for your own benefit, not for others. If women enter your life, great. If not, it's their loss. She's just going to face challenges until she matures and people stop giving her superficial attention. Don't be the unfortunate person who ends up in a difficult situation for years. Story 87. I think you are underestimating how autistic Generation Z is. Every person from Generation Z I have talked to has been autistic. It was simply an autistic outburst. Story 88. This girl is using a negative tactic to elevate herself. I've met many men with receding hairlines who are extremely attractive. Don't let her take away the value of what you have to offer as a person. Story 89. My response to her. The decrease in my hairline clearly added inches to your waistline. See how being a jerk can work both ways. And then my friend and I would have walked off. I could say the usual cliche like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I don't think you want to hear that. What I will say is that everyone has something they don't like or feel self-conscious about. Everyone is different, has different preferences, and is attracted to different things. So, there will be plenty of people who find you attractive. As for girls like that rude one who made hurtful comments, how you present yourself isn't just about physical appearance. Your attitude is important. She's clearly lacking anything positive in her life if she feels the need to be deliberately rude to people she's just met. With an attitude like hers, the guys she is attracted to will see it a mile away and leave her behind when they're done. So, she'll either change her attitude in the future or end up with someone she's unhappy with, or used by people who wouldn't seriously date her. You'll be fine. Find a girl worth your time, and this will be a distant memory. Story 90. The hardest thing in dating is finding the right one. I had gone through many dates with women until I found my wife. My wife tells me how attractive I am daily, and she is very kind. I say this not to brag, but to reassure you that this isn't your issue. Let it go, brother. Just as you said, words are words. Let them pass and become okay with yourself. You seem to be kind, and that is something a good woman will cherish. Shake it off, my brother. Story 91. If she's putting other people down, it's because she already feels below them and she's trying to put herself on top. Sounds counterintuitive, but try taking the fact that she's choosing to insult you as a compliment. Story 92. It may be time to shave it and grow a beard. She's difficult for sure, but that brutal honesty may have been what you needed. Story 93. Well, if it's your hair that you're insecure about, you could try some treatments. As for the girl affecting your perception, honestly, this is not about the girl. It runs much deeper than you think. See, if you were truly proud of who you are, and by that, I don't mean having millions, owning an island, or being a top surgeon, but knowing that wherever you are in your life, you worked very hard to get there, you wouldn't care what anybody says. When I was entitled, anything a girl said to me would have made me feel like a victim. But when I started putting every ounce of energy I have into my life, hopes and dreams, and seeing a person in the mirror whom I, myself, made and respect, I don't care what anybody says. Compliments never hurt, but they're more or less meaningless because whoever said the compliment doesn't even see a small part of my day. And negative comments just pass by me like nothing. If you are serious about changing how you see yourself in the mirror, you can check out David Goggins. Not the little 10-minute compilation stuff, but the real message he puts out. Good luck to you. Story 94. What someone says is a reflection of them, not you. She is a terrible person, and it shows quickly. No one can make you feel anything. You have allowed her comments to reinforce negative things that at some level you are already saying to yourself. You need to be a better friend to yourself and not say negative things. Be grateful that she showed you who she is very quickly, And be especially grateful that she is not your wife, girlfriend, or the mother of your children. Story 95. You should have responded to her with something assertive and ignored her afterward. Some women think they can get away with everything they say. I know it hurt you, but deep down, you know your worth, which is far more important than a negative comment. Why invest time in thinking about this when you know it's not good for you? People's reactions are a reflection of themselves, and actions speak more about them. Story 96. Have you ever talked back to a girl? She sees you as a pushover and weak. If you talk back to her, I guarantee you will regain your confidence. You are hurting because you stayed quiet and didn't stand up for yourself. You don't have to call her mean names, but definitely stand up for yourself. Story 97. This girl is not very nice. She isn't the kind you'd want to be with either. I think a better approach is to laugh it off and make fun of yourself. Sometimes people, like that girl, are just bullies and feed off others' misery. Don't let them see it affect you. Story 98. I would have given my buddy a $20 bill and said, "Okay, I give up. You win. You got the ugliest one." Story 99. Why do you care about some random girl's comment? The fact that you take it seriously tells me you haven't accepted your hairline situation. Story 100. Have you considered the possibility that she was, in fact, flirting with you? She might have been giving you a bit of playful banter or testing you to see how you react. This might explain her behavior. Story 101. You should have had a sarcastic comeback. I would have ignored her and just carried on with my night. Why would you want to get to know someone who is clearly comparing you to your friend? Her loss. To meet someone, you have to go out on a limb. Being sensitive is going to make it tough. You should have said when she commented on your hair loss, "Yes, too much bashing my head on the headboard." Story 102. Real confidence does not come from external validation. It comes from a deep level of self-acceptance. If you dislike feeling this way, get serious about making peace with yourself. I find it helpful to view the world in terms of things over which I have control and things over which I don't. For the former, I exert the control I have, or accept that I'm not ready yet. For the latter, I change the way I think about those things. Realistically, there are few things you can actually do about your hairline. Many suggest shaving it down because, unlike implants or drugs, it shows you have accepted this part of yourself with dignity and grace. This does not mean giving up on self-improvement. On the contrary, it gives you more power for self-improvement. You aren't improving yourself to gain approval from anyone. If you've identified some aspect of yourself that needs improvement, you're accepting where you are on that journey, wherever that may be. Once you start practicing self-acceptance and get good at it, you'll find that those insecurities begin to wane and fade away. Story 103. I'm sorry this happened to you. I don't know why anyone would do something like that to another person, other than that they are miserable in their own life and need to bring others down to feel better. I understand that her words were hurtful and brought out your insecurities, but she is an inconsequential person, and who even cares if she was more into your friends? She sounds terrible, so no loss there. Plus, if she puts so much emphasis on hairlines and not on people, she will never be happy. When someone hurts my feelings for no reason, I try to remember that it's not me. It's them. They don't make a difference in my life, especially a stranger I won't see again. They are going through something that makes them unhappy and miserable, so they are just taking it out on me, and I won't let them bring me to their level. I feel pity for them. I'm not sure why, but this makes me feel better. I hope you can move on from this and let that little voice in your head rest. Your hairline is not who you are. Also, look up a good dermal roller and grande hair serum. Story 104. I'm 21 years old, and I've received some negative comments on my appearance and personality over the years. I've improved with time, but there are still things I struggle with that others do easily, like taking photos and being stylish. Through self-improvement and self-discovery, I've come to understand who I want to be and how close I am to becoming that person. I'm just at the start of my journey, but I like where I am right now, and thinking about that lifts me up when I'm feeling down. Good luck to you. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.